Hi, I'm Marshall. I'm the owner of Going Gear, and I'm here in our store in Smyrna, Georgia. This is the extended review of the Klarus Mi7. All right, so here we are with some of the different versions of the Klarus Mi7. Very cool light. If you're looking for a AA light, this is one of the best ones on the market. It's definitely one of our most popular and best sellers, and it's one I recommend. They did a good job on this, made it nice and compact, got a good interface, got solid output when you're using lithium-ion batteries. And this is another one of those videos where I had it almost completely done. Everything was shot, did the outside stuff and everything, and then they went and made some changes. They introduced some new versions, but they were nice changes, so I figured I'd go ahead and start over. One of the big changes that they made is that the original versions, which that's what these two are right here, Klarus was nice enough to send these to me when it came out. They added in a pocket clip. So they have a pocket clip on there now when the original ones did not. They introduced some new colors. There are actually a couple other colors beyond these. And they also introduced a titanium version. So if you're a titanium guy, I definitely am, then you have the option of a titanium one as well. But this is, I think they call this army green or olive drab or something like that. But it's a pretty cool color. This and black are probably our most popular. And the titanium one's been doing pretty well. Honestly, people like all of them. The shiny silver one looks pretty cool. You got blue. I think there's a pinkish reddish one as well. Probably some other colors I'm also forgetting. Anyway, some basic specs. Let's use the shiny one and talk about some basic specs. So it comes with a battery, but the battery that is included is an alkaline battery. I do not like alkaline batteries, but it's nice that they include one so you can get the light functioning and ready to go right out of the box. If you want that 700 lumens, if you want the max performance, use a lithium-ion battery. You got some information here on the back. 700 lumens on max output. You can see you're going to get 330 on max output on when you're using an alkaline battery. Let me actually zoom in so you can see those specs a little bit better. I'm going to be lazy and just use this and not throw the ANSI table up since we've got it all right here. So you can take a look at all the different specs. It goes all the way down to 5 lumens on either battery. You got strobe and SOS as well. Beam distance at 110 meters, which is pretty solid for a light this size, especially considering just a AAA battery or a AA battery. So it's not a big reflector, not a meant to be a thrower for sure, but 110 meters is respectable for a light this size. IPX8, what that means is you can basically put it underwater, don't go diving with it. Using it in the rain or dunking it in a puddle or anything like that, you're good to go. Voltage range 1 volt to 4.2 volts, so it can handle lithium-ion batteries, and you've got an orange peel reflector in there to help smooth out the beam a little bit on there. Cree XPL high LEDs. So normally with a light this size, the reflector relatively small, the beam distance would be less than that. So they put the Cree XPL high in there. They gave it the orange peel reflector to smooth out that beam a little bit. So that's how you get that pretty decent beam distance considering the size and battery type and everything. So those are the specs. If you ever want to see the full information where I'm not shaking my hands around, you can see the full specs at goinggear.com. But here were the original packagings. If you bought one of these from us when they first came out, you probably recognize this, but this is what the new packaging looks like. They have the clip, they have the battery, and then you also have the titanium version. So I'm going to set these two to the side, and I'm going to use these to show you what the current new packaging looks like, what you get with the light, and then we'll use this guy right here to do the actual review portion of it. And these are both sealed, so let's you know, I've got 20 knives within reach, but I'm gonna be dumb and use my fingernail and be super awkward while I struggle with getting this piece of tape off. All right, so let's pull this out. Got some accessories here in the bottom. You have a lanyard. You have a split ring if you want to attach that lanyard. So a nice substantial lanyard on there. Looks like an S-beaner or a locking S-beaner that they have on there. You got a nice lanyard. Klarus does a good job with their lanyards. You've got the instruction, user manual. Always take a look at the user manual. It gives you information about the light, tells you how to operate it. You've got those specs again. Usage and maintenance, you know, basic warranty kind of stuff. You've got all that information in here. So user manuals are always worth a look. Definitely check that out. And then you have the light itself. So we have the light in here. Nice and shiny on this one. You can see you got the pocket clip. It is a removable pocket clip, and then you have please pull and remove battery compartment tabs before using the flashlight. I'll show you what that means. Pull this one out. Since I already did it in the Army green one, man, I'm just having trouble with some packaging tonight. So we'll take the head off and show you the battery that it comes with. And this is what I'm talking about. So you have pieces of plastic in there just to isolate the battery, just so it doesn't turn on in shipping when it gets jostled around while it's being shipped around the world. So take those out. Otherwise, when you pull it out of the packaging, it's not going to work. And honestly, take it out and take the battery out while you're at it. Don't use alkalines. They leak. They are junk. And I'm not disparaging the battery that they put in there. I'm talking about alkalines in general. They're going to leak and they're going to destroy your light. Or not definitely going to do it, but they have a very high possibility of doing it, especially if you leave it unused for a while. So switch it out with a nickel metal hydride, get a nice lithium ion battery, and we're actually going to throw a lithium ion in there when we go outside. But for now, we'll use the included battery just to show you the interface after I show you the titanium one. I really like the titanium one. I like that they went with that brushed kind of matte finish. It looks really, really good. Has a nice feel to it. As with any other titanium light, there is absolutely no performance benefit to it. You're going to get the same performance that you get with the aluminum version. It just looks and feels really cool. Titanium is just such a cool metal. It is more expensive, but if you like titanium, hey, why not? You have that option. There is the LED down in there. Same LED on all the different versions. You can see the Cree XPL High. That is a domeless LED, so it doesn't have that clear acrylic or plastic or whatever it is dome on top of the LED itself. And that gives it a nice focus beam, gives it some pretty decent beam distance. And again, since this is not really meant to be a thrower, they put an orange peel reflector in there just to help smooth and even the beam out, but you'll see that better when we go outside. So show you some of the up close stuff on the titanium version. Got that nice pocket clip, pulls right off if you wanted to. It is not reversible, so you've got it down there by the tail cap. You can see you've almost got a slot there for it, but it's not quite wide enough to put the pocket clip in there. I guess you could cram it on there, but you can see that slot right there. It's not quite large enough for the pocket clip. You do have lanyard attachment points. So if you want to attach the lanyard, you've got a couple of lanyard attachment points on there. Here is the switch. Got some nice additional surface area around the switch, help give it some better heat sinking, just help it dissipate that heat. So that is the Mi7 titanium. You've got the gift packaging. It makes a nice gift set for a buddy or for yourself. I recommend it. I like it. I think titanium is a cool metal, but it has no advantage in terms of performance over the aluminum version. So we're going to use this one and talk about the batteries and talk about the interface and everything. So I mentioned you get 700 lumens on max output using a lithium ion battery. And because that's 700 lumens in a pretty compact light, it's going to be putting off some serious heat. After a few minutes, it is going to drop in output to prevent overheating. So you don't want it damaging the light. You obviously don't want it damaging yourself. And it's going to drop in output just to protect the light and to protect you. There's also over discharge protection in here depending on the type of battery that you're using. So that's kind of cool. So if you're using alkaline or nickel metal hydride batteries, it will automatically drop to a lower level when it drops below 0.8 volts. When you're using a lithium ion battery, it's automatically going to drop to a lower level when you get below 3.4 or 3.0 volts, just to prevent over discharge of the battery. So that's got that built in. I always recommend, if you're using lithium-ion batteries, to use protected ones, unless you're using an IMR, to also prevent that. But it's nice that the light has built-in protection for that as well. So it'll work with alkaline, comes with alkaline. You can use nickel metal hydride. You can use lithium-ion. Interface on here. Interface is pretty cool. So the interface, you tap the light, tap that switch one time, it'll turn the light on into the max output. Press it again, it'll go into low. One more time, it'll go into off. From off, press and hold, it'll go into the moonlight, that lowest output. Tap it again, and it will go off. You also have some flashing modes in there. So if you want to get into the flashing modes, what you do is you double-click the side switch, and it's going to go into strobe. Double click again, and it'll go into SOS. And then just tap the switch to go back into whatever you were in last. So we had it off, so it's going to turn off. So if we have it on, do the double click, and then tap, it's going to go back into whatever output or off that you had it in before. So pretty neat interface. It also has a battery capacity indicator in there. So the way to get into the battery capacity indicator is to triple click the switch. And 3 flashes means that you have over 70% capacity. 2 flashes, you're at 30 to 70%. 1 flash, you've got less than 30% capacity. And it's going to base that on the battery that's in there. So it knows that there's a lithium ion in there, or there's an alkaline, or there's a nickel metal hydride. So it just looks at the voltage and makes an assumption about the capacity remaining. All right, so you also have a lockout in here. The way to get into the lockout is press and hold that side switch for about 5 seconds. You're going to see a couple flashes, and then it is locked out. The way to get out of that is to do that triple press, just like the battery indicator. Do a couple quick or 3 quick presses, and it will do that flash for the battery level indicator, and then you are out of the lockout, and you can use the light as normal. So pretty cool interface. From off, you can get to the lowest output. You've got that battery level indicator. You've got the strobe from any of the modes. You can get right into the highest output from off. I like the interface. It's something a little different from what we've been seeing in a lot of other side switch lights. A lot of the side switch lights use the same interface, so it's nice to see them try something different. And it works. We've had a lot of customers tell us that they like the interface on here. So some other stuff that I neglected for years and I've been trying to work back into my reviews is the basics of what you get when you get a high-end light. You know, why would you get this over the stuff that they have in infomercials or the stuff you see on eBay or Amazon for 10 bucks or 20 bucks or whatever? Why would you get a light like this over that? And one of the big things is you get support from the manufacturer. So these guys actually do honor their warranty. It does have to go back to China a lot of the times if we don't have the parts, and that can take a while, but they actually do it. You know, I've owned so many products in the past where there was just nobody to go to for warranty service, but you can contact us. We'll send it back to the factory, and it may take a few months, but they'll send it back to us and get your light fixed or replace it or whatever. So that's a very nice thing. You also have some nice features like nice, durable, hard anodizing on here. So it's very scratch resistant, holds up to abrasions really well, and your light will stay looking like this for a long time. I've had lights for years that look basically brand new except for the dust and finger gunk in the nooks and crannies. But unless you're, dragging it across rocks or doing just real hard use, they stay looking nice for a long time. Great quality materials on here. You can see the machining, just nice machining and smooth, clean, even anodizing all across it. Something that is a very good test or a very good indication of the quality of the light is open it up and take a look at the inside. What do they make the inside look like? Do they have blobs of solder all over the place? Are there wires hanging out? Does it look nice and clean on the inside like this one does? Does everything look well manufactured on the inside of the light? A lot of the lower quality lights don't go that far, so when you know they're doing that, what else are they skimping on? Are they skimping on the circuitry and the internals and the other stuff? Klarus definitely doesn't do that. They are a great quality brand. We have very few issues with them for sure. I talked about the waterproofing, so you can use this in wet environments. Again, don't go diving with it. There are dive-specific lights. This is not one of them, but it can handle dunks. It can handle rain and things like that. You got nice materials on the reflector and the lens, so you can see you got that nice orange peel reflector down in there with the LED. The lens is a mineral hardened glass. Holds up really well. It's got an anti-reflective coating on there. It's very scratch resistant. Holds up really well. Basically, you have to get something and hit it right on the lens for it to break, and you have to hit it pretty hard. If you drop this and it hit like the piece of gravel right in that lens, maybe from dropping it from 3 or 4 feet up, yeah, it probably would break, but most glass will. But short of that, it's isolated down in there. You've got O-rings all over the place to help absorb impact. You got that decent amount of bezel before the lens, so it can handle impact just fine. So those are just some of the things that you get when you buy a higher end light. And this is definitely not something that's super expensive. This is actually on the lower end of the spectrum. of the stuff we sell, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what you get when you go with one of the better brands out there, one of the more reputable brands like Klarus. They're a great brand. We've been dealing with them for a while, and I really like the stuff that they make. Another nice feature of the Mi7 is that it has constant current across the outputs. So all the outputs are constant current. There's no PWM in there. And what PWM is flashing the light very rapidly, honestly, usually faster than the human eye can detect, hundreds or thousands of times per second. And it uses that to adjust the output. So when it's flashing on and off very quickly, let's say it was at 1,000 lumens when it's on, and obviously 0 lumens when it's off. When it's doing that very quickly, it looks like 500 lumens to our eyes. So it's an effective way for manufacturers to not have to fit a bunch of stuff on a one circuit board, but it can cause some problems. You know, if you're doing photography, you got the light flashing on and off. If they don't implement it properly, it can get a kind of a disorienting effect. And they didn't do that. So it's kind of nice to see that on the different outputs you have the constant current. So I talked about a bunch of different stuff on here. Actually, one thing that I forgot to mention originally is the pocket clip and the switch. The switch on there is raised up. Accidental activation is always a possibility, just like any other light ever made. Even twisty lights can get the light twisted or get the head twisted, but I carried one of these for a while. I didn't have any issues. You can always just loosen the head if you're worried about it. Just slightly loosening that head is going to prevent accidental activation. And then you've got the lockout as well. I always prefer mechanical lockout over electronic lockout because it's a little bit more of a better fail-safe in my opinion. But the switch on there is raised enough that when you're using it, people ask, can you find it in the dark? And when you're kind of fumbling around or with gloves, it can be kind of difficult to find in the dark. So it's raised enough that if you just put your hand around that part of the light and squeeze, it's going to turn the light on. So that's a nice feature. And then you also have the ability to take that pocket clip and you can orient it to give you a kind of an indicator of where it is. Some people will take it and put it opposite of the switch. So when they pull it out of their pocket, they know when they pull it out where their thumb is right where that switch is. Or you can put it right where the clip is, you know, right where the switch is, put the clip right where the switch is and have it oriented like that. So you can use the clip on the light to orient it however you want. And if you like it to have it in place, you can put a little dab of JB Weld or Crazy Glue or something like that on there just to hold it in place because it does move around. So that is the Klarus Mi7. Talked about the features and interface and everything. We are going to take it outside. We'll show you how it does outside. All right, got the Mi7 outside. Got the big 40 mag light that I always use as a control. Let's go ahead and try out that mag light first. Tree right there is about 30 feet away. Dock house down there on the lake is about 100 feet away. There is your mag light, or my mag light. And then here is the Mi7. So we'll start off with the max output. Pretty impressive. This compact, tiny little handheld light fits in your pocket really well, putting out a serious amount of output. So you can see there's the tree. We'll zoom in on the dock house. You can see how well it's lit up down there. Everything's lit up really, really well. And as you'll see in a little while, it could go out to a longer distance, no problem. There's the lower output, there's your medium. And then we'll do the press and hold and go straight into the low. Doesn't really get out there all that far, but it's obviously meant for up close kind of stuff, and you get the really good battery life on that low. And then when you need it, you got the two higher outputs. So we'll shine that around a little bit, just so you can see different colors and different distances and stuff. My dog wandering around somewhere around here. I hear him crunching. Okay, let's try out the Mi7 at a longer distance and see what it can do with some more space. All right, got some more space to show you what the Mi7 can do. Let's go ahead and try it out. So that boat right there is about 20 feet away. Got a couple targets set up out there. The first one is at 50 yards. The second one is 100 yards and 100 yards. It's just 100 yards. And then that white sign right there is 60 yards. Tree line beyond is 130 yards. Let me show you the medium. You can see it makes it out to that 50 yards pretty well just by itself. We'll zoom back out. And then let me show you the low. The low is going to make it out to the 20 yards okay. You can see the lighter parts of the boat, and then obviously up close kind of stuff, it excels at that. And then when you need it, you got that max output.
really solid output. Considering how small this light is, you got the side switch, this thing fits in your pocket really easily. You don't even notice it, how small and light it is. You got the 3 colors on there, bunch of cool stuff going on with this light. They did a good job on it. Klarus has just been knocking it out of the park lately, and this is another example of a high quality, nice light from them. If you like it, you can buy it from me at goinggear.com. Any questions or comments, you can reach me in the comments or any of my guys at goinggear.com. As always, get going and start something. Thanks for watching.